On this week's show, not a whole lot in terms of news this week, everybody. Just a little bit of USFL news. We don't have any college football news. We do have a new NFL head coaching vacancy. And, oh yeah, those frickin' playoffs. We have to talk about it.
In this week's history lesson, we tell the story of a college football rivalry trophy known as the Little Brown Stein.
That and much more this week in the world of, who am I kidding? Did you see those playoff games?
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of This Week in the World of Football. This is episode number 233 for January 25th, 2022.
Yep. You are correct, sir.
Yeah, I'm your host, Randy Snow, and across the table from me, as always, is my son, Adam.
Oh, my goodness. What a week.
Yeah, I tell you.
So much has changed in the football landscape since a week ago, and I can't wait to get to those things.
You can have your super wild card weekend, but this last weekend was phenomenal.
Might as well have called that super divisional weekend. Am I right, everybody?
We come to you each week from the World of Football Man Cave, located right here in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're here to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. From the NFL to the CFL to the XFL, college, high school, indoor, and arena football, we inform and entertain our listeners with the glorious buffet that is the world of football. All this while keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. Thanks for checking out our podcast. We'd love to get your feedback on one of our many platforms: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and now YouTube, where we post the entire audio portion of this show as well as other selected videos. So, let's review what happened this past week, and we begin with the World of Football scoreboard.
That's right. A very small scoreboard, but it is also the biggest scoreboard.
The best one of the
I
season.
think we might as well declare this is an official stamp from the World of Football, the website and the podcast. This was the greatest weekend of NFL playoff football of all time.
Yeah.
I think, no ifs, ands, or buts. Argue with us. Come at us. There's no way you can disprove that this was not the greatest playoff weekend ever, and we watched pretty much every second of this.
Yeah, change our minds that this was the best weekend.
I thought you were going to say you were chained to the couch.
No.
You might as well have been.
The two games on Saturday were great.
Oh, we call those appetizers.
Yeah, but those two games on Sunday were spectacular.
That was the main course and dessert. But all right, let's get to those appetizers. And hey, if you watched our picks video, you know that I did not do too well, and neither did my co-host over there.
We did terrible, but we're very happy with the results anyway.
I don't know about many other people. I think some people might have picked the Bengals to upset the Titans, and I was not one of them. You were not one of them. But the Bengals went into Tennessee and got the win over the Titans, 19-16. This is Cincinnati's first road playoff win in franchise history. They were 0-7 going into this game, and this franchise has been around for a long time.
You said that wrong. You gave the wrong score. Bengals and Titans was 13-10.
19-16.
Are you sure?
I am sure, because the next game was 13-10, sir.
Did I write that down wrong?
You wrote that down wrong because I am looking at the official NFL scoreboard.
Okay.
So yeah, stay over there in your lane.
Okay. Bengals and Titans.
Yeah, Bengals and Titans. I was going to call you a mean old person name.
How bad does it have to feel to be the number one seed? Get a bye week. Best record in the NFC or AFC. And lose that game.
Look, this was I won't say it was an incredible game, because it was a really, really good game. Mm-hmm. It came down to a last-second field goal that the Bengals got through there. The Titans had their chances, but guess what? The Bengals showed up. I don't know if the Titans overlooked them, if the Titans were rusty because they had that bye.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people's fear. Sometimes you get that bye, and you're the rusty team.
Yeah.
And with this new playoff format, there's not two teams in your conference now that have byes. It is just you. You're the lone team in that conference with a bye, which means any opponent you play, has already got a game under their belt. They're hot. They're all that rust is probably knocked off.
They've been under the playoff pressure
Under
already.
the playoff pressure. There you go. If that's not a song, it should be. That'd probably be the World of Football's greatest football love ballads.
It was the pressure of the playoffs.
Oh my God, he's actually gonna sing. All right,
it was
well,
the pressure of the playoffs.
I don't get paid enough to listen to this and/or put together this compilation that we are now going to work on after the show. But anyway, I think the Bengals. I was so happy to see that they actually won. But the Titans, they got Derrick Henry back.
Yeah,
that crowd was rocking.
Yep.
I just thought this should have been the Titans, game.
Right. Yeah.
Like I thought the Bengals would put up a fight.
Sure.
But it was all field goals at first. I mean, how about that rookie kicker for the Bengals? He started off a couple field goals. He ended the game with a field goal.
Yep.
And Joe Burrow said during the press conference after the game that the kicker, before he ran out onto the field, actually said, "Well, looks like we're going to the AFC Championship, boys," and went out there and kicked the game winner. Ice in his veins.
That's pretty good for a rookie.
That's pretty good.
in the playoffs.
And just that swagger that the Bengals have had makes them a very scary team.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are going to have to question, getting this bye. Is it actually going to be worth it now? I mean, yeah, is it nice to have home field? But, hey, when you lose that game, home field don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, you'd think one number one seed going down was bad enough, right?
Right. That can't happen twice.
Well, later that night, the number one seed Green Bay Packers fell to the number 6 seed San Francisco 49ers in Lambeau, 13-10. Now, this game, for the most part, was almost a snoozer.
Mm-hmm.
It started off, Green Bay marched right down the field. That opening drive, scored a touchdown, and we're like, oh boy, here we go. Green Bay is, Aaron Rodgers has got the conference championship and the Super Bowl on his sights, and he ain't letting it go. And somehow, that San Francisco defense after that point showed up.
Yeah,
they were able to contain Green Bay. Neither offense could get anything really going after that. I mean, I think we saw the punters out there more than I'd seen a punter all season, it felt like. But then, I turned to you at one point and I said, look, if San Francisco is going to win this game or have any shot to get back into it, they need a special teams. I think I did tell you. I told you they need a special teams score. And what happened? They get at the end of the half, first, they stopped Green Bay from getting an extra field goal because I think Green Bay was already up 10-0 at the time.
Yeah, I don't recall.
I can't remember going into half, but special teams showed up for the 49ers, blocking that field goal at the end of the half, so they prevented Green Bay from getting 3 points. In the second half, though, get the blocked punt, return it for a touchdown, there's 7 points, and then San Francisco at least got within range to get a couple field goals, and then they kicked the game winner right at the end of the game. Former Bears kicker Robbie Gould, kicking the game winner. And how about this before the game? I think I showed you the video of him kicking, practice kicks, or I told you about the video of him.
You told me about it. I didn't.
I'll have to show you the video. It's great. It's him doing practice kicks into the field goal goalpost while the Green Bay team is literally on the field 2 yards in front of him.
Being introduced
like there were a tunnel in front of him. He's just kicking field goals over them. And it's great. And apparently, I didn't know if this was real or not. It has to be real. But he was practicing his kicks during the Dallas playoff game a week ago. The cheerleaders were on both sides of him, like doing their routine. And he's just sitting out there on the field kicking field goals still. So this dude is just out here just, hey, I don't care what you guys got going on. I'm practicing my kicks. And the dude came up big. And thus begins the Aaron Rodgers speculation on where he will go next season.
A whole other offseason of, is he coming back? Is he going to get traded?
Is he vaccinated?
Where's he going to go? Yeah, is he vaccinated yet? Oh, my gosh.
I mean, if there's one thing we learned, Aaron Rodgers could be, he did. He won MVP on Saturday. I don't know if you heard about that.
No, I did not.
Yes, but in this case, MVP stands for making vacation plans. So thank you, Aaron Rodgers. And yeah, that Robbie Gould field goal was a 45-yarder in Green Bay as time expired.
In the snow, in the cold. Everything was set up for Green Bay to
Green Bay
run away with this.
Really?
That's their weather. That's their stadium. That's their fans.
Right.
It just floored me that they lost. I mean, I'm very happy that Green Bay lost.
Right.
Not a Green Bay fan.
San Francisco, what have I said for the last few weeks of the season into the playoffs?
You've been saying that
they look like they could be like a dark horse team, and here they are. Their offense looked terrible, so they better fix that for the conference championship game. But because of both number one seeds falling on Saturday, that just made the Sunday games heightened and even more special because that meant the winners of those games get to host the NFC and AFC championship games. And boy, if you thought those games were crazy Saturday night, here we go into Sunday. The first game, the Los Angeles Rams traveled down into Tampa Bay, the site of last year's Super Bowl and the home of current Super Bowl champion Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Los Angeles Rams, obviously, quarterbacked by our favorite quarterback, Matthew Stafford, former Detroit Lion, traded away in the offseason. We all heard the stories, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
But you start watching this game. Did you expect the Los Angeles Rams to run out to a 27-3 lead?
No. I thought this was going to be close. I did not. I mean, I was rooting for L.A.
Were you? There was one point during the game, and we'll talk about it in a second. You sounded like a lifelong Rams fan.
No, I'm a lifelong Stafford fan. He just
lifelong,
happens to be, lifelong. Ever since I was a kid.
I just knew number 9.
When I was born in 1959, my dad put a Stafford jersey on me as a onesie.
Hold on, wait a second. Matthew Stafford was born in 1987 or 8.
Hey, my dad was a visionary. He knew what was coming.
But no, so the Rams jump out to this 27-3 lead. We're both like, oh my gosh, I did not expect the Buccaneers to get shellacked like this.
Right.
But then slowly but surely, Tom Brady did what Tom Brady does.
Yep.
That defense for the Buccaneers also showed up. And the Rams just started playing like, I don't know, it was lackadaisical. They just, a couple bad plays where it's not like, I don't think they were trying, but like a bad fumble where it was just literally a couple inches and the guy would have been down by contact.
It's almost like they could see the writing on the wall. Like, here we go. Brady is gonna win this game.
Then eventually got to that point because I think at first you're like, okay, we're up 27-24. I mean, they got to get a few scores. They get one score. They're like, no big deal, no big deal. But slowly, as they 3 and out, then the Bucks get the ball back, then the Bucks go score again. It's like, okay, we're still good. The closer they got, the more the Rams just looked like they couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then when the Buccaneers tied it up, we're just like, oh my gosh, we're going to overtime.
Yeah.
But they gave Matthew Stafford too much time.
43 seconds?
Like 43 seconds. No timeouts.
They obviously haven't seen some of the highlights. He is the king of last-minute comebacks.
Well, he's one of the kings. Yeah, I think he might have the most in the NFL since 2010 in terms of comebacks.
I forget.
Here we go. Matthew Stafford with one playoff win under his belt, another game on the line, 40-something seconds left. And what does he do? He marches the Rams down the field, and then in a play reminiscent of a play in Detroit where this time he heaved the ball down to Cooper Kupp, who caught it. A miraculous catch, no timeouts, and he had to run down the field, yell at his teammates to hurry up, get down the field so they could clock it. And of course, we were mimicking, clock it.
Right.
And like you especially were yelling at the TV, you're screaming, you're swearing at the Buccaneers, and Stafford clocks it, 4 seconds left. They kicked the game-winning field goal, a 30-yarder, as time expired to make that 3 games out of 3 playoff games to end with a game-winning field goal, giving Matthew Stafford and the Rams a shot at the NFC title game in their home stadium against the 49ers.
Yeah, I was so emotionally spent after that kick that I could not even get into watching the next game, which started right after that one. Right. Kansas City and Buffalo. Yeah. And that to me was going to be the marquee game of the weekend.
Oh, we all knew it.
But I mean, after Stafford led them down to that win, I was so emotionally drained that I didn't even watch the first half of the next game. I checked it later. I was watching something else and watched it later. Saw what the halftime score was, and then I watched the second half. And that was spectacular.
You see, I won't say I was spent, but I definitely was working on something else. So I was actually out working on another YouTube video for my personal channel. And I was like, I got to get this done. I want to get this done before I go to bed. I know I'm probably going to miss the end of the game, but I did have on my phone as I'm editing on my computer, I had the game going. So I caught pretty much all the first half touchdowns, I think. I might have missed one. But I was watching the game kind of in the corner of my eye, just like, man, this is back and forth. One team pulls ahead, then the other team gets ahead. Just back and forth. Mahomes versus Josh Allen. Could they be the next Manning versus Brady? Quarterback rivalry? I hope so, because this was phenomenal. And then to watch just the last 2 minutes alone. 25 points scored in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, that
was insane.
Crazy.
Insane. Here I was thinking that Buffalo, when Buffalo marched down and they scored that touchdown and Josh Allen threw a dart to take the lead. I think at that point made it 36-33. To take the lead, I was like, wow, they left him 13 seconds. Way to go, Buffalo. And Kansas City, what an effort. What a great game this was. And, of course, I'm like, 13 seconds, you can't do nothing. Sure, they got 3 timeouts, but there's surely no way. There is surely no way that this could. I mean, we just saw Dak Prescott a week ago with 14 seconds, couldn't do nothing.
Right.
What's Patrick Mahomes going to do with Patrick Mahomes marched the Kansas City Chiefs down the field in 13 seconds to kick the game-tying field goal.
Was it 2 plays or 3 plays?
It was like 2 plays.
I want to say it was 2 plays.
I think one play was like, oh, God. But what was weird was that Buffalo defense played so soft.
Yeah.
Like, you knew they just needed a field goal, and they're playing like they're going to go throw a touchdown with 13 seconds. And they had 3 timeouts. That was what was killer. And then Travis Kelce got open on one nice little like inner slant route, got him a big chunk of yards. They called another timeout, kicked the field goal, and here we are. Bam, we're in overtime all of a sudden, and we're all sitting there dumbfounded. Like, I mean, us collectively, just in terms of football watchers, dumbfounded that Patrick Mahomes, with 13 seconds left, was still able to march his team down from the 25-yard line, mind you. Another mistake by Buffalo, by the way. They should have just pooch kicked it.
Right.
They should have knocked a couple extra seconds off that clock, and they didn't. They kicked it out of the back of the end zone. So what were you thinking there, Buffalo? But then, in the big debate now, should the coin toss have determined the winner of this game? Because I don't know about you, I knew the winner of that coin toss was probably going to win that game.
Pretty much. I mean, both those quarterbacks were so hot at the end of the game.
And both defenses had to have been gassed.
Yeah. Either quarterback, whoever had the ball first,
just knew it. And
was going to march their team down and get a touchdown.
And when Josh Allen called tails and it was heads, and he had to pick what side they were going to kick to, you could just tell. He knew. He knew right then and there. As soon as it didn't end in his favor, he walked away going, we'll kick that way. He knew. He knew what was about to happen. And, of course, the Chiefs marched down. They score the game-winning touchdown to end the game because in overtime, you score a touchdown, the game's over.
Yep. If it had been a field goal, it would have continued.
I wish it would have been a field goal. That game should have gone on forever.
But that's what the rules are right now.
That is what the rules are, and that becomes the big question. I mean, congratulations, Kansas City. Going back to the AFC Championship game again next week, they will play the Cincinnati Bengals. But let me ask you, this is the question that's been on everybody's mind. Should the NFL overtime rules be changed, whether it be altogether or just for the playoffs?
I think both teams should get a shot at the ball. Whether they play a 10-minute overtime period, where you accumulate scores through the whole 10 minutes. You have to play 10 minutes more. Whatever. But I really do think that both teams should get a chance. I mean,
especially in the playoffs.
This is kind of a compromise. If they score a field goal, then the other team gets a shot.
Right.
If they score a touchdown, it's over with. But yeah, like I said, we knew whoever got the ball was going to win the game.
True. And as a defense, I mean, if that's the rule, I mean, you know what you have to do, defense.
Right.
You have to stop them, and they could not stop them. So I won't say that Buffalo was robbed. Kansas City definitely deserved it, but I do think, I would have. You're telling me that nobody didn't want to see what Josh Allen would have done to follow that up?
Well, the way they were playing, he would have marched them down and got a touchdown himself, and then they'd have just kept on going. So, if they had done like a 10 or 15-minute period, it would have been whoever had the ball last.
I think.
And that could have ended in a tie
So
again.
I doubt they'll do this. I think I think they should keep these overtime rules for the regular season because you don't want players playing an extra quarter of football. You want to get in and out in overtime as fast as you can. I think in the playoffs, it should not be called overtime. It should just be called the fifth quarter. 15 minutes. Pretend like it's the fourth quarter all over again. All the same rules. A 2-minute warning. Give all the teams, 2 timeouts. And just play a full 15. I know that sucks, but if you're a good enough team, guess what? You grind it out for 10 minutes, running the ball, you go down, you score your touchdown, you kick it off to the other team. Guess what? If they make a mistake or give you the ball back, all you got to do is sit on it like the end of a regular game.
Right.
And if it goes into overtime again, then then after that, next team wins. You played a fifth quarter for crying out loud. Next team to score win, but you play it like you're going from, instead of the fourth quarter, you play it like you're going from the first quarter to the second quarter, wherever the ball ended. I don't know if you kick it off again. I don't know. There's ways they could do this.
Or maybe take the college approach.
No, that's
you don't
the
like
one.
The college approach?
Not for the NFL. Get rid of that college. Start from the 25. No. That is not football. That is. I like it in college. It's fun in college. I don't think it works for the NFL. In the NFL, I want football. I don't want. If we set up both teams at the 25-yard line, let's see what happens. No, I want football. I want the kickoffs. I want everything. The only thing I could say that I would borrow from maybe the college rules is maybe in NFL overtime, no extra point kicks. Get rid of the extra point kicks or get rid of field goals altogether. I mean, but at the same time, then that eliminates the element of football. But I say maybe get rid of the extra point at least. I think you can still kick a field goal. Get rid of the extra point. Make them go for 2. Make it a little harder. Put that offense out there and go to win the game.
Yeah.
I think that's more entertaining. It's a little more thrilling. I'm sure they won't change the rules anyway, so we're all just hopefully wishing for something. But that's just where I'm at. I think I kind of like more the idea of just play an extra quarter of football like it's the fourth quarter again. But obviously you can't play for a tie.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know if they just have an untimed overtime period where, hey, you kick it off to one team, you go down, you try to score, then the other team gets a chance to match you, and that's it. Like maybe that's it. You get a chance to match them, and if you match them, you keep going till the other team can't answer. I don't know if you swap. So if, say, like Kansas City went down, scored first, then Buffalo scored, then they would swap. So then Buffalo gets the ball back, go down and score again, Buffalo. But then I guess, the defense was just out there for the Chiefs, so they'd be even more.
And if one team's got the wind, then the other team's going to be at a disadvantage all the time if they don't switch ends.
Yeah, I think at some point, you got to switch ends, and so I don't know. There's got to be a way to do this. I know it'll be a lot of talk during the off season about that. But,
sure.
But still, regardless of that outcome, what a game!
Yeah.
What a duel between those quarterbacks. I don't know if you saw Patrick Mahomes, instead of celebrating with his team as soon as they won, he ran and found Josh Allen and gave Josh Allen, dude, you were incredible. We should do this again more often.
I think you will see them.
I hope so. I'm hoping that they're the next, because it seems like every time we lose a quarterback rivalry, like a Manning and Brady, we're kind of like, well, what's the next one going to be? Because back in the day, you had, what was like a good quarterback duel that we saw growing up? Like Elway and Favre. Were they a rivalry? Elway and Favre? I know they played in one Super Bowl against each other, but that wasn't really a rivalry. But, I'm trying to think of some other quarterback rivalries. You're older than me. Help think of stuff. I have is Brady.
Nothing is coming to mind right now.
Brady and Manning.
But there have always been great team rivalries.
Well, of course. That goes without saying. I'm talking about quarterback rivalries.
Who the quarterback is.
But hey, Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes, I will gladly endorse for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one for years to come.
So that's it for the World of Football scoreboard. But like we mentioned, that does set up in the NFC Championship game, the San Francisco 49ers will play the Los Angeles Rams in Los Angeles. This will be their third meeting this season. So can the Rams take it at home? We'll find out. And then in the AFC Championship game, we'll have the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Kansas City to play the Chiefs.
Yeah, what's interesting is that last year Brady was the Buccaneers were the first team to play and win a Super Bowl in their home stadium. Now the Rams have a chance to do it this time, but last year all of Tampa Bay's playoff games were on the road. They had to go on the road 3 straight weeks in order to make it to the Super Bowl. But this week, the Rams are going to be at home, so if they win, then they'll be hosting again in 2 weeks in their home stadium.
Right.
So that's a little unusual from last year.
Yeah.
But we'll see if that home field advantage in LA is enough
either way, the winner of that 49ers-Rams game, they'll be in that building again.
True.
So
that's true.
That's funny to think about.
I hadn't thought about that, but yes, you are right.
So that's it for this week's World of Football scoreboard. I know we talked about we were hoping maybe we wouldn't be watching some of the football because we'd be an IMAX screening of the Beatles Rooftop movie, but apparently they're not playing it around us. So
maybe that'll
shame
change
on
over
you. We'll find out.
Few days,
but anyway, those games should be fantastic next week.
Yep. All right. Moving on to some NFL news. This came out just before we started recording today. Head coach Sean Payton of the New Orleans Saints informed the team that he will not be returning for a 16th season as the head coach. He's been the head coach there since 2006. He signed an extension on his contract back in 2019 and still has 3 years left on it. Before he was with New Orleans, he was an assistant head coach and a quarterback's coach with the Cowboys from 2003 to 2006. And he was suspended during the 2012 season for
Bountygate.
Bountygate, yep.
Which, by the way, a movie about that comes out this Friday.
Yeah.
What was that show called? Or the movie called? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Home something? I'll find it. You keep
it's
talking.
Kevin James. But yeah, you were telling me about this a few days ago. You said that he was ghosting the team. They couldn't get a hold of him. Nobody knew where he was. There was rumors that he was going to call it quits, and obviously they did. But I hadn't heard any of that. But you were on top of that for some reason.
That was the rumor going around. Like I follow people on Twitter or Adam Schefter and the other NFL insiders, and they had mentioned that he had pretty much gone dark with the Saints, and so it made everybody start wondering: is this the time?
Well, evidently it is.
And that movie is called Home Team that comes out this Friday on Netflix. Check into my YouTube channel for a review, I'm sure, this weekend.
Well, when I wanted to know what Peyton had done before being head coach of New Orleans, I went to one of my favorite sites,
theworldoffootball.com?
footballreference.com.
Oh, okay, your second favorite site.
Yeah, and then I'm going down the list of all his coaching jobs and positions, and for 2012 it said, I forget the name of the school, but they put that on his coaching credits. Trinity or something, elementary school, 6th grade.
Oh,
they actually listed that as what he did in 2012. They didn't say suspended, did not coach or anything like that. They listed the school, the elementary school, and they in parentheses they said 6th grade for his 2012 season.
Jeez.
I thought that was weird. So now we have 9 coaching vacancies in the NFL. The Saints, the Jaguars, Las Vegas, Miami, Minnesota, Chicago, Denver, the Giants, and Houston.
That's a lot.
So yeah, I mean all these vacancies. I mean some of them happened, the day after or the day before the season was even over.
Right.
But here we are 2 weeks into this off season, or I say off season.
Well,
for the teams that didn't make the playoffs.
28 teams remaining, it's the off season.
And nobody's hired a head coach yet. A few teams are close to getting a new general manager, so I guess that's who's going to be making the head coaching hire for their new teams. But yeah, 9 head coaching vacancies in the NFL as we speak right now.
And something that you probably didn't know about, and this will be our third story that I didn't tell you about. This is what I was kind of saving. So with those 9 head coaching vacancies, I don't know if you realize this, but that leaves only 3 teams that can be forced onto Hard Knocks next season.
Oh, really? And those 3 teams are?
Well, we'll get to the 9 teams, but here are the stipulations for what qualifies teams for being on Hard Knocks. Well, because of the 9 new teams that'll have new head coaches, that you don't qualify for Hard Knocks because you have a new head coach, so you can't be on it. Also, playoff teams from the past 2 seasons cannot be forced. This disqualifies Tennessee, Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati, New England, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Dallas, the Los Angeles Rams, Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, Philadelphia Eagles, Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns, Indianapolis Colts, Seattle Seahawks, and the Washington Football Team. Also, teams that have been on Hard Knocks the past 10 years are also disqualified, and that includes the Falcons and the Rams.
Okay.
So those 3 teams remaining, because I listed off a lot of teams. Those 3 teams remaining are, drum roll please. Yeah, I don't know if the mics will pick that up, but thank you. The New York Jets, the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, yeah.
And who will actually probably end up being on Hard Knocks, the Detroit Lions.
Oh, boy.
When I saw that the list was down to 3, I was like, oh my God, we're actually going to be on Hard Knocks this year, aren't we?
Hey.
Because the Jets were on it like not that long ago.
Right. If we go to training camp this year, maybe we'll get on Hard Knocks.
Oh, you want to do that? You want to be that buffoon, huh?
Yeah, wear a big sombrero in the crowd or something, get noticed. Or whatever.
I will. Okay, I'm going to put this on air. This is recorded. I will pay you $500. I will give you $500 cash if we go to this thing, and they do Hard Knocks, by the way. If you just show up in full body paint, no shirt.
Oh, God.
As the I in Lions, and when somebody asks where the rest of the letters, you'll say, I don't know, they got lost in traffic or something. But you have to just walk around like the one guy out of the 5 that should be there with their bellies painted.
No.
Please?
No.
$500 is a lot of money for a retiree.
No, I don't.
How many Werther's Originals candies can that buy you, sir?
A lot of them. Enough to get me to Florida and back.
Okay. But yeah, so that's the Hard Knocks story. Like when I saw that there were 3 teams, I was like, You got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Well, Dan Campbell and the way the Lions finished last year.
I think that's what makes them the favorite.
I would say, yeah, they're the odds-on favorite.
You're telling
right
me
now
he can't have another like biting kneecaps speech or
he's good in front of the microphone.
I think everybody loves him now.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Dan Campbell. I'm not I'm still on that fence. In terms of buying into what the team's going to be under him.
Right.
But I do like Dan Campbell.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, man. We're gonna be on Hard Knocks, man, and we're gonna fight. We're gonna be tough. Detroit tough. That's my Dan Campbell impression.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was terrible.
It was awful.
Okay.
Don't let me do that again.
College news. Former Hawaii quarterback Timmy Chang. You remember Timmy Chang?
Do I remember Timmy Chang? You talking about one of the all-time passing leaders in college football
yes.
from the University of Hawaii?
Yes. Well, he's just been hired as the head coach at his alma mater.
Alma mater.
The University of Hawaii. It was reported just a few days earlier that June Jones had turned down an offer to return as head coach at Hawaii. He was there from 1999 to 2007. Chang played for the Rhine Fire of NFL Europe in 2006. He was with the CFL's Hamilton Tiger Cats in 2007 and 2008. And at some time during that 2008 season, he was traded to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And you weren't with me at this game, but I went to a game in 2007 with your two brothers. And I saw Timmy Chang during a game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And that's where I purchased this. You probably...
Wow, this is a great bit for
haven't seen that in
radio.
A while. But yeah, I bought a very nice picture of Timmy Chang in his in a game against the Toronto Argonauts, playing for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It's got his autograph on it, and it's a really nice frame picture.
Yeah.
But yeah, he only got in for like the last series of the game or something. But I did get to see him on the field. I was really looking forward to it because I thought he would be a great fit in the CFL because he had so many passing yards in college. The CFL is primarily a passing league, but things just didn't work out up there for him, which is too bad. But I did get to see him play a little bit up there, and so now he's the head coach at the University of Hawaii. So we'll see how he does out there. Let's see. We've got some USFL news. Today, the league officially announced that Birmingham, Alabama, is going to be the hub city for the 2022 season, which they've been talking about it for months.
Yeah.
Everybody knew it was going to happen. It just wasn't official until today. So they made that official today. There are going to be 8 teams, all based on teams from the 80s version of the USFL. 6 of them have head coaches that we know of. There's still 2 that don't. The New Jersey Generals are going to be coached by Mike Riley. Birmingham Stallions are going to be coached by Skip Holtz. For the Pittsburgh Maulers, it's Kirby Wilson. Houston Gamblers, Kevin Sumlin. Tampa Bay Bandits, Todd Haley. Philadelphia Stars is Bart Andrus. So that leaves just the Michigan Panthers and the New Orleans Breakers, where we don't know who the head coach is going to be just yet.
Well, a head coach just left a team down there in New Orleans. Maybe he'll jump over to the Breakers.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Or if we could lure him up here to Michigan to be the Panthers coach, that'd be great.
But these teams, they don't even have any players yet because there's going to be a player selection meeting February 22nd and 23rd. The training camps are going to open March 21st, and the season is going to begin on Saturday, April 16th. Games are going to be broadcast on NBC and Fox, and the very first game that night, on the 16th, is going to be simulcast on both of those networks, something that hasn't happened since Super Bowl I. And the 2 teams are going to be the New Jersey Generals and the Birmingham Stallions.
Yeah, and great picture. I forget who posted it. You said you knew them from the PFRA?
Yes. Well, not the PFRA. They're part of the From the 55-Yard Line podcast.
See, okay, I was mixing that up. You talk about a lot of people, so I was like, okay, who's this that you're talking about now?
Scott Adamson.
Yeah,
is his name.
Shout out Scott. Well, that was a heck of a picture, man.
Yeah,
a great, gorgeous picture of the helmet. I'm like scrolling through. I found another picture somebody posted of the Birmingham Stallions helmet, which I kind of like. It looks nice.
Yeah, it's different than the original helmet, but it does. It's got the same original color.
Right now, if we could just get the helmets for all the teams and the uniforms, so we can start ranking those. Come on, man.
Yeah, we've had some logos released. I hate the Michigan Panthers one. But we haven't seen the uniforms. We haven't seen the helmets until these first 2.
These are the first 2 helmets, yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so that's some coaching news, and and the season schedule has not come out yet. We know the first game.
Oh, you know what? I'm scrolling through Facebook. There's see, shows you how much I'm on Facebook and Twitter on the work computer, because I was like scrolling through Facebook, like I'm not seeing that post I found earlier, because that was clearly on Twitter.
Let's see. I do have a correction that I need to
you do
talk about from last week. In last week's history lesson, I guess I should wait a few minutes till we do the history lesson, but yeah, I think I'll hold off on that.
Ooh.
There's a correction to last week's history lesson I want to mention, but we'll hold that off for a minute. Let's see. Arena Football TV on YouTube, they posted another game this week, and it's a good one from 1999, the Tampa Bay Storm at the Grand Rapids Rampage.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a year before I went to see them the first time. I went to my first Rampage game in 2000, and I went to 2 games that year, and one of them was the Tampa Bay Storm, but this was a year earlier. They were wearing their pewter helmets at that time, not the black helmets that we remember. That they switched to a black helmet in 2000. But
oh, look at that! Greg James from the Beyond the 55 reposted that.
Yeah,
that's such a good picture.
Yeah, that's a nice picture. It's got the football, and it's got the New Jersey Generals and the Baltimore Stallions.
Oh, it's great.
I keep saying Baltimore, Birmingham
Stallions.
Yeah, and that's a very nice picture. So anyway, new game up on Arena Football TV on YouTube. Check it out. Obituaries this week. We do not have any, thank goodness.
Dang.
And I thought maybe I'd missed something, so I went back over my news feed and a couple of the sites that I check, and did not see anything.
He's checking his list and checking it twice.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad not to have to report any obituaries this week, so that's a good thing. But we do have some birthdays, a couple of birthdays today. The first one is Lou the Toe Groza, who was a center, an offensive tackle, a defensive tackle, and a kicker, most known as being a kicker, but that's why he got the nickname the Toe. But he was born on this date in 1924, and he passed away in 2000 at the age of 76. He played college football at Ohio State, and he signed with the Cleveland Browns of the All-America Football Conference and played for the Browns for 21 seasons. He was with the Browns from 46 to 1967, 21 seasons. He won 4 AAFC titles and 4 NFL titles with the team. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1974, and today the Lou Groza Award is presented annually to the top college football place kicker. And who won that this past season?
Who?
U of M kicker Jake Moody, son of fellow PFRA member Chad Moody. He won that award this past off season.
Congratulations!
So, yeah, I didn't even realize that Jake had won that award until I was looking this up, and they talked about the Lou Groza Award, and there was Jake Moody's name. So pretty cool. All right, and the other birthday today is guard and center Mark Schlereth, who turns 56 years old today. He played his college football at Idaho, and you'll be hearing Idaho in the history lesson coming up. He was selected in the 10th round of the 1989 NFL Draft by the Washington Redskins. He played 12 NFL seasons. He was with Washington from 1989 to 1994, and he was with the Denver Broncos from 1995 to 2000. He won 3 Super Bowls over the course of his career, 1 with Washington and 2 with Denver. And today he's an analyst for ESPN and Fox.
Wow.
So, yeah, he grew up in Alaska, so he's one of the few players in the NFL that's actually born in Alaska. And as you know, they don't have any college football teams in Alaska. They have colleges, they just don't have any college football teams up there. So he went to Idaho to play college football. Now let's go backtrack a little bit. Let me get that correction in before we do this week's history lesson.
Yes.
Last week in the history lesson, we talked about the highs and lows of the scores in the Arena Football League. And I said that the very first ever tie game in the AFL was in 1998. It was actually 1988. And when I looked at my script, I had written down 1988. But I just didn't say 1988. I said 1998.
And you just misspoke.
I misspoke, even though I did have it correct. So I went back and I corrected the audio, but not in our podcast. If we do a history lesson video, the audio is corrected on that. So we shall see. So now, unless you have any argument, we're going to get on to this week's history lesson.
Well, real quick, I did just see this as I was scrolling through Twitter, that some of the numbers are out on the viewership for the divisional playoff round in the NFL. If you want to quickly go over that, or if you want to say that for next week.
No, go ahead.
Okay, cool. On average, an average of 38.2 million viewers, TV and digital, for total viewership of over 152 million. 38.2 million is the highest divisional round on record.
Wow.
The TV share was 49.3% in the United States during NFL game windows. There's a lot of little other bits of information here. Digital AMA across NFL, Yahoo Sports, and broadcast platforms. By the way, I was watching on Yahoo Sports. So I was one of those viewers. Of 1.6 million is the highest on record for the divisional round. To date, the NFL playoffs averaging 33.6 million views TV and digital is the highest average through the divisional round since the 2015-2016 season. And a total of 63.3 billion minutes have been consumed, which is the highest on record through the divisional round. So NFL breaking records this weekend over the viewership. So we knew it would be big, but I didn't think it'd be that big. I mean, I knew the games would be good.
Yeah.
But if you would have told me like they would have broke records, I would be like, well, maybe not. But here you go. I mean,
would they have broken those records if the games hadn't been this good? I mean, how do you know the games are going to be this good when you tune in to watch them?
You never know.
I think maybe the matchups were intriguing.
They ended up being intriguing, and even if you weren't watching the game to start, like you didn't start watching the Bills game till about halftime.
No.
So maybe people started hearing, do you hear that the Bengals got like a 3-point lead on the Titans in the second half? Like, oh, I got to go tune it. Like, I thought this was going to be all Titans. And, you check it in and bam, Bengals upset.
Yeah, that could be.
All right, now on to your history lesson.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this week's history lesson, we tell the story of a college football rivalry trophy known as the Little Brown Stein. Most college football fans are familiar with the rivalry trophy between the Michigan Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. It is called the Little Brown Jug, and it is the oldest college football rivalry trophy in the country. But a lesser-known trophy is played for at the football championship subdivision level between the Montana Grizzlies and the Idaho Vandals. This trophy is called the Little Brown Stein. The two teams first met on the gridiron in 1903. In 1938, students from the Grizzly Bear Paw Booster Club approached John T. Campbell, who worked on the Montana student newspaper, the Mountain Cayman, about creating a rivalry trophy with Idaho. Using the story of the Little Brown Jug as inspiration, Campbell came up with the idea of a Little Brown Beer Stein. The Booster Club students liked the idea and paid $25 to have a local carpenter create an 18-inch tall wooden mug. Idaho won the very first trophy game on October 29, 1938, by the score of 19-6, and dominated the series during the early years of the rivalry. In 1961, Campbell commented on the fact that Idaho had won most of the rivalry games, saying, "It's been a Montana mug occasionally, but more often a Vandal vessel." In 1996, Idaho moved up from Division I AA to Division 1A, which today is known as the Football Bowl Subdivision, or FBS. They left the Big Sky Conference and joined the Big West Conference. The rivalry game was not played as often over the next 22 years. The Vandals also spent time as members of the Sun Belt Conference and the Western Athletic Conference. They even played the 2013 season as an independent team before returning to the Big Sky Conference of the Football Championship Subdivision in 2018. Montana did manage to beat the Vandals 4 times while they were playing at the higher FBS level. Idaho Stadium, the Kibbe Dome, only seats about 16,000 fans, and they found it hard to maintain the attendance level required to be an FBS team without a waiver, which had to be granted by the NCAA several times. At the time of Idaho's return to the lower FCS level in 2018, they led the series against Montana with a record of 55 wins, 27 losses, and 2 ties. The two teams had not played since 2003. Is it really a rivalry if one team dominates another in a series? Things can change in the future, but who knows how long that will take. The most important thing to remember about rivalry games is the prize one earns from winning the game. And in the case of the Montana Grizzlies and the Idaho Vandals, that would be an 18-inch wooden beer mug known as the Little Brown Stein.
Yeah, you showed me a picture of this thing, and boy, oh boy, that's a big Stein.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's got the scores and the years. It looks like they're hand painted on it, but the guy just took the inspiration from the Little Brown Jug, and said, "Well, let's do the Little Brown Stein." And students are like, "Yeah, that sounds good." What college student wouldn't get behind a little beer stein or a beer mug?
Exactly.
So yeah, that's been around since 1938, and one that I really had not heard of before, but it's been around a long time. So that's the story of the Little Brown Stein. All right, our upcoming events calendar. This Saturday, the NFL Players Association Collegiate Bowl at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. February 2nd, the Washington football team will be unveiling their new name and logo.
Ooh.
That should be pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be a day after our next podcast.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait unless you want to do a special thing about it.
No, I don't know.
We'll have I guess we could save it because we'll have no news that week other than the Pro Bowl. And
we could wait a day. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. If we decide, we'll put something out about that. All right, Thursday, February 3rd, the East-West Shrine Game being played in Las Vegas. February 5th, the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. February 6th, the Pro Bowl game in Las Vegas. And February 13th, Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles. And then we start the season all over again. March 1st through the 7th, the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. April 6th, the USFL season begins in Birmingham. And April 28th through the 30th, the NFL Draft in Las Vegas.
That's in 3 months.
Well, that's what we got to look forward to in the next
you got the next 3 months all planned out.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, you got to mark it down on your calendar so you don't miss anything.
I guess. Dang.
And then the CFL draft is usually right around the time of the NFL draft.
It's like the next week?
Yeah, within a few days or a week later. First part of May. So we'll see. All right. Anything else before we call this show to an end?
You know what? Nothing. I don't think I got nothing. We had the games were the biggest thing this weekend. Not a whole lot of news. No big head coaching hirings as of yet.
No,
so
just Sean Payton saying that he's not coming back today.
So we're in the stage of the game now where we're going to have more news than scores, and these shows are probably going to be about this long, unless we decide to vamp.
I think after the Super Bowl, we may go for a while without any scores at all. I know in years past, we've rolled right into some of the indoor football league season, started right after that, so we went without a week off of some kind of football scores going on. But
I know, so we'll have some planning to do.
Yeah.
Whether it be we'll still put up shows, but maybe they'll be like compilation shows or...
I have an interview or two that I've been putting off, and now that we're getting towards the off season, I just may call up a few people who've written some books and do an interview or two.
Hey, there you go. Hey, don't forget, we can't neglect our new YouTube channel that people can subscribe to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll be working on some of that stuff too.
Yeah, we got a lot of. I think 2022, we got a lot of plans and ideas we want to put into the not just the podcast, but
we got lots of ideas. We'll see if any will.
We'll see which ones Randy approves of, I guess, because he's the one who you got to convince on all this stuff.
Well, I'd like to do some cemetery trips.
Hey, we talked about that's the big thing right now is we're talking about some video travel logs, whether it be your for whatever reason trips to graves. Graves encounter of the football kind.
It's important.
Or just videoing and like kind of documenting our trips and just putting them in a nice fun 10-minute YouTube package or something. If we've been talking about maybe going down to Birmingham, Alabama to see the USFL. Yes. Maybe not. We'll see.
When the schedule comes out, I'll see what dates the Michigan Panthers are going to be playing down there. Maybe go check out a game.
Have a nice fun weekend in Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah.
Hopefully the weather will be good.
Right. When's the Senior Bowl again?
The Senior Bowl is February 5th.
Oh, yeah, way too early in the year. It's still cold. Oh, yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, can we work it in to see the Senior Bowl and go to a USFL game? Nope. Don't work out.
Yeah, no, the way the weather is right now in Michigan, I don't want to go I don't even want to go to the store. It's so nasty outside.
You telling me I had to drive out in that whiteout snow today? Good Lord.
It's so bad that we had to put a blanket on the horse because I felt bad for him being out there in the snow. So yeah, we've had to do that a few times over the years when it gets really, really super cold. Put a blanket on him, and he's fine after that. So, all right. Well, that's all the time we've got for this week. If you learned something during this podcast about the incredible amount of diversity that exists in the world of football, then we have done our job. Visit our website at theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, videos, and more. Our email address is info@theworldoffootball.com.
You can also like The World of Football on Facebook at TWOF Kalamazoo, where we post a lot of unique stories, pictures, and highlights from all over the world of football. You can also follow our Twitter, which is at TWOF Kalamazoo. New episodes of this very podcast are posted every single Tuesday and are available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Our YouTube channel is The World of Football Kalamazoo, so please go over there, rate, review, subscribe, do all that stuff, to help our channel out. We're kind of lacking in the video department right now, but we're going to work on it, and any feedback or ideas would be greatly appreciated.
And once again, we're doing our weekly NFL picks. We're coming down to the wire.
Right, yeah, we only got to pick 2 games this weekend.
Yeah, 2 games this week, and then the Super Bowl after that.
Are we going to pick the Pro Bowl?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. Whew.
So those videos are exclusively on our YouTube channel, The World of Football Kalamazoo. So look for them on Thursdays, sometimes Fridays.
I think with the game being on Sunday, now we're a little more flexible.
We'll post it before the game's on Sunday.
I
Put
think
it that way.
Saturday at the latest.
Okay.
Could be up Friday. It just depends on our schedules. We have some weird schedules, and I definitely got plans this weekend. So
yeah.
We'll see how that works. Okay. But yeah, at least Friday or Saturday, be on the lookout. Set your alarm. You can get the little alerts if you subscribe to the channel. They tell you when we post new videos, so you don't miss one.
Yeah, do that. Subscribe,
like all the videos.
Okay, and remember,
watch
folks,
them at least 10 times each.
And remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more kinds of football than we do. Join us again next week when we'll review all the happenings in and around the world of football. Until then, I'm Randy Snow.
And I'm Adam Snow.
And we'll see you all next week.